Linda is also new to the board.
That's what.
She just wanted to say, ask a question of last time.
Chairman of the trustees of our church.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
I had an administrative council meeting tonight. Told the minister yesterday.
Didn't see one. I looked at it in the paper before we came. Yeah, me too. I like that.
2 months to be the chair of the trustees. I've got 3 more years to be.
That's right. You need to be.
I think I'll be here.
Yeah, I'm. Like I said, I did my stuff as much as I can. But like, I won't be there, but I'll be there when the district government goes in, because I'm gonna be at a high school track meet up at that.
Okay. Well, that's what.
And then there's some, next board meeting, I'm not gonna be there for that for some reason, I'm gonna do somewhere else.
Well, that's what I didn't come to the golf tournament.
Oh, no, go over here.
Yeah.
You're like, you're just sitting here and go off.
I don't have no interest. I played golf, I gave it up years ago, but I sat there. I was supposed to go to work with Taylor, and Jimmy jumped in, and she went back, I had everything under control, so I just stood around and asked any questions.
Buzz?
It was.
Afternoon,
sir.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm gonna sit down and let y'all.
Be careful, don't sit back there close to that cop spell.
Uh-oh.
Somebody inside.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Where's my present?
He's got it.
I'm in good hands then.
That's it.
Good all stuff.
Harry, have you met Harry? This is our new
How are you?
Harry's on the board and has been for a long time.
How are you?
All right, how you?
Big advocate.
Oh, yeah. Now you got another.
I don't talk bad about you.
Sir, my right to give you comments on RSP tomorrow, maybe. Well, I know we need to get it out, but I ain't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Christine. That's all right. That's what I get for being too big for you to get by. Christine emailed me today and said she was ready to send that to her. I need to tell her.
I did.
How are you doing tonight?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
It's nice to meet you. Here's mine.
And I'm not sure that.
Okay.
There was one thing that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
It kept coming back to me.
Oh, no.
I
got mine.
think I'm moving further and further towards the end here. Well, you know, I don't know. You want, we could move everything.
No, that's what I did.
Okay, good deal.
It may just be I gained weight again, who knows?
I'm kind of surprised because I thought I had remembered that.
Oh, my doctor's done come and told me I need to be about 99% vegetarian.
We just need to make sure that that's
Very happy.
when it
Yeah.
gets to the.
I just tell him I need to be cold.
You can tell him that. I was gonna leave it with the old one.
That'd be good. Yes, sir. Hey, sir.
You're right.
I might go over there. I that's what he told me. It has been what it is. It has been. It's going to change.
Well, wait, do you have time?
Well, how's it?
It's good. I'm ready to do it. I think I've got it.
It certainly wasn't intense to go.
I thought we just had worked out.
You're hard.
Hi, buddy. It's been a day. Yeah, it's been a good day. It's just been a day.
I'm glad to hear it was a good day.
Sorry about that.
I was on a Zoom call
Oh, okay.
a while ago.
Yeah.
Talking a little bit about it. They said, well, we've heard rumors. That was no goggles. She said, about last guess. And they said, well, she said, rumor has it, every time we start out the meeting, you tell me how good you got. I said, well, I'm gonna have to tell you that again. I said, we good over here.
I hear you.
And I'm like, what are y'all doing different?
Corn and whole corn.
And tonight's
It's
good. I mean,
good to see you.
Good to see you. Should be.
yeah.
I'd love to do later. Okay. Okay, I'll be
Hidden
there.
secrets here, but it's good.
Okay. Okay, I'll bring you back. Thank you.
All the time. Something wrong.
I know it.
Somebody go out and walk around the building.
The correct door was open.
Mike, I received your email just a little while ago. I was in a Zoom meeting, but I replied back.
Oh, okay.
I felt like it would probably be best to go down there and then come back with it.
Sure, that's fine.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and share that email.
Absolutely.
So they can read it.
Yeah,
And, I think they'll all be thrilled about it.
okay.
I know I am.
Yeah,
I figured you would be. I know Oglethorpe is.
yeah, that was, that's been on my stack for a while.
Yeah, well,
And you working on that, do you have any legislative inroads that might help us change the definition of soil amendment at the state level?
Well, legislator, I know the same one you know.
Okay. I know if y'all, I know if there's a bar association that
Well,
might have
there
some
that goes.
contact.
Has anyone talked to Gary Black about it?
Yes.
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 Everybody in the road.
Little disappointed.
Which Oglethorpe, I'm sorry, Rob Leverett, he
Right.
did meet with all of us
Right.
up there.
Yeah,
And,
he's driving right now.
he is, yeah. He's
Because it's been a real problem for them, and then down on the river, they've got some abuses down there that's potentially harmful.
Yep.
Not just nuisance, but potentially harmful.
God, we are early, good Lord. Normally I'm 3 minutes late. Today we're 4 minutes early. And we are in the presence of Judge Rice, retired Judge Rice, one of my favorite people. Well, that don't work no more. I don't have to say that no more.
Well, look, you know, I felt really good about this meeting until I looked out into the audience and saw him out there, but I hope it's good omen. So don't, you know, I'm counting on it to be a good
We'll
omen.
just put it this way, I have not signed up to say anything.
But that don't mean you won't.
That ever stop you?
I can promise you, for whatever reason, Judge Rice is here tonight, my daughter didn't do it this time.
Oh, man. Does she know how much you talk about it? Huh?
She gives it back as good as I can give it to her.
We still got a couple minutes.
How are the daughters?
I've been blessed.
Absolutely.
Yes, you have. I know both of them in there.
They took after their mama, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say, you took the words right out of my mouth.
It's obvious once you're around them a lot that I didn't have much to do with that. I worked a lot during those years.
Yeah.
That was it.
You provided, didn't you?
I tried to.
Like me, my children turned out well in spite of me, not because of me.
Yeah.
I think we have to be that part, though.
Well, I qualify for it, that's not, I earned that label.
The only thing is, though, is to say that it's my wife's fault. She's got so much of that Yankee blood in her. That, you know, it's just
yeah.
hard to.
Well, maybe that's the good part, was that your southern influence, maybe that was good on it, you know, somewhat. I think.
It's a good time to remind everybody we're on tape, so be careful.
I know.
If I get open records request from Denny's wife.
Don't call me.
That's funny. I'm glad we can actually come together and laugh. It's a good thing, guys, I promise you. All right, ain't nobody gonna show up in the last 10 seconds. If they do, they won't miss much. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Madison County Board of Commissioners regular business meeting, August 30th, 2021 at 6 p.m. September 27th, I'm reading the wrong draft, I apologize. September 27th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Before you is a copy of the minutes from August 30th, 2021 regular business meeting and September 13th work session agenda. If no one sees any discrepancies, I would ask for a motion to approve tonight's minutes.
Move to be approved.
Motion by Mr. Chandler to approve.
Second.
second by Mr. Adams. We'll start off with Brian, go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Business involving guest groups and multiple visitors. Miss Jennifer Ivy, Madison County Library Branch Manager, please come up.
This is what I passed out to y'all, it's her handout.
And how are you, young lady?
I'm good, how are y'all?
Good.
Thank you for having us here tonight. I actually have quite a good representation of library, board and one employee here with me. So, you all have a copy of my report, so I'm just gonna jump right into it and hit the high points. I have to mention the statistics because they're all good. Everything is up except for curbside and computer appointments. This is because we opened back up during the second quarter. So, we have less demand for curbside, but we are still offering that for those who want it for COVID reasons or mobility reasons or having children in the car. So we're going to try to meet those needs as we can. Computer appointments we're not doing anymore because people can come in the regular 56 hours per week. So in April, we expanded our grab-and-go in-person hours from 12 to 20 hours per week. And then in May, we opened back up to the public for 56 hours a week, which is our pre-COVID hours. In June, we had Inclusive Book Club in person, and the library was a site for COVID vaccinations provided by the Northeast Health District. The picture on the first page is of local author Lilla Lawson donating a copy of her book to Library Assistant Ashley Graham. And on the back side, the picture is of Children's Specialist Carly Stewart and Library Assistant Zach McCannon, who were both enrolled in the Masters of Library Science program at Valdosta State University. They got all A's in their first semester, so I made them take a picture and put it on Facebook. They also got all A's in their second semester and are currently in their third semester, so I have 2 library students on staff.
Well, let them know, congratulations.
Yes, I will do that, thank you. In May, our children's section, or this is the youth highlights, sorry, got ahead of myself. Youth highlights, in May, the children's section reopened on May 17th, so when we opened back up for regular hours, the children's was open so people could browse. In June, we did have a summer reading program this year. The programming was virtual. We had crafts to go and passive programs. People could come in and do activities, but we didn't have large gatherings in a small room. And we were a site for the school's summer feeding program. So the school district provided the meals, and we were a site for people to come and get those. On the back side, we have Farm Bureau representatives donating a copy of Chuck's Ice Cream Wish, or Tales of the Dairy Godmother, which I think is a much better title. And they're donating that to former technology specialist Camden Joyner. He resigned in July, and our part-time assistant Ashley Graham is now the technology specialist, and she's doing well. There's about a whole paragraph of staff training, which was all virtual. The only one I want to mention is that I did graduate from the Appalachian Leadership Institute in person, so I got to travel and see people's faces.
So congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Our friends had the book sale actually last month. This is current quarter information, but they just had the book sale, and the amount of money raised by that book sale was $3,106.25. They donate that back to the library, and we purchase brand new books for circulation. I always like to leave with a story, and then I'm going to introduce our new board member and present her for y'all's approval. But the story that I want to say this time is that when they built the splash pad, I knew we were going to get questions about it, even though we have no authority over the splash pad. In June, somebody called the library and wanted to know if the splash pad was open, and I familiarized myself with their hours, and they were open. And she said, well, there's nobody here, and nothing's happening. So I told her I thought that it was motion activated, so I was like, walk on out there and just see what happens. And I said, I'll stay on the phone with you, and we stayed on the phone, and then she found the button that you push. It's not motion activated. I did not know that. So we learned something together. She pushed the button, and she's like, thank you so much for, making sure. And I was like, this is what we do. So I just love that it shows that if you don't know, if you need to find an answer, you call the library. So even if it's about the splash pad. Our October calendar is also attached to the report. We have still doing virtual programs, except we do have 3 outdoor story times in October. As long as weather permits, we'll have outdoor story times the 1st and 3rd Friday and the last Saturday of October. Before I present a new board member for approval, do y'all have questions about my report or library services?
I just like to say, personally, I appreciate the library and the board, and then I know the board does also, but yeah,
Thank you for that.
my grandkids, I know use it
Oh, yes.
often.
Yeah, I think I know who they are.
Yeah, and they talk about it all the time, they love it, so.
Good, well, thank you.
Y'all do a great job.
Glad to hear that.
I would hope that the splash pad becomes a good draw for the library.
I hope so,
I think
too.
they complement each other very well
I
in
was
location.
very happy with that location.
It's very good, and I hope to see your numbers continue to climb, young
Yes.
lady, and thank you
Thank
for what you do.
Yes. So I'm going to present Terry Drake Floyd for approval. Our board has approved. This is Terry here. You might also notice she's the author. Her pen name is Lila Lawson. So she's a local author. She lives in Madison County. Her child attends school in Madison County. And she's just real committed to education and literacy efforts in this county. And I think she'd be a great addition to the board. The board has already approved. And now we present her for your approval. Thank you.
Is this Lila Lawson?
Lila.
Lila
Close
Lawson?
enough.
All right.
I wanna check out that book, though, the name's got me interested, Dead Rock Star. That's intriguing there.
Is it based on any particular person?
Not really. Dead Rockstar is one of my fantasy novels, but I do write historical fiction, and my published novel that is historical fiction actually does take place in Culver.
All
So
right.
you guys might be more interested in that one. And they're both in the library, yes.
Okay.
What time frame?
I'm sorry?
What time frame?
In the late 20s, early 1930s, so Depression era.
What's the name of it?
It's called Monarchs Under the Sassafras Tree.
So there's a lot of history in Madison County, and different people make me aware of it. And one this week was a topic of Doc Holliday and Crawford W. Long, that they were cousins.
Oh.
Yeah, I had no idea. And there was a biography on it, and somebody said, yeah, you didn't know that? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. So, but yeah, I wish somebody would do like you done, take the time to come up with this good stuff. Well, thank you.
I move Ms. Floyd be approved
I second.
as a board member.
I have a motion by Mr. Chairman, a second by Mr. Kerr. Any discussion? Mr. Dawson?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And thank you for
Unanimous.
all your
Welcome
service.
aboard.
Thank you.
And thank you so much.
You have copies of this, copies of this book at the library?
Yes, there is. Yes.
You have copies for sale, right?
I don't personally have any at the moment. There's been some supply chain issues with publishers lately, in the publishing industry, but I can certainly direct you to websites and things where you can purchase it if you'd like
If you
to.
would do that for us,
Okay.
please.
Thank you.
Yeah, Miss Ivy, this is good information. You know, anytime y'all have something special like that we can share with the public through Brother Zach, we greatly appreciate it.
Okay, I'll continue to do that.
The more, you know, one of the main goals, for me being chairman is I wanted to educate the public on things that a lot of times they're not aware of, that they don't attend the meetings, or they can attend the meetings. And I feel like the best way to get that information out there is through Zach and the Madison County Journal. So anytime you have something of this caliber, this is great. This is good stuff.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Chairman's report. So, a lot of late information coming in on a Monday. One of the emails that we received today was, I guess it was from DCA. Actually, it was Northeast Georgia Regional Commission, wasn't it? I can't remember her name. Some of you gentlemen may have received this, but Madison County was awarded $529,676 through the CDBG grant, and that is for the water line expansion on Mize Road water system. And I won't steal the thunder of the other city that had an award. I'll let that come out. But from the county's perspective, we have won that award. So $529,676 will be, they're putting together the package now, and we will receive information based off the email as to when it'll be arriving. So that's very good news, very good news. I think there was a 43 million total, something to that effect
Yeah,
throughout the
40
state
or
of Georgia.
43, that was for the state of Georgia.
And we get a little better than, $500,000 is a good cut of that. Very proud of it. Gentlemen, tonight you have a copy of my final draft of the budget. I'll give it to you all a little bit early. It's been done for about a month, and I wanted to fine tune it just a little bit more. And as of today, myself and Ms. Pettigrew finished it. So you're more than welcome to take it home, look over it, and then on the work session, if you all choose, we can start doing budget hearings if y'all would like to bring in anyone to talk to between now and adoption. I'm gonna put off my next thing I was gonna say. I'll address it under new business because it pertains to item number 7. So I'll just move on with statements and remarks from citizens on tonight's agenda. Anybody have anything about tonight's agenda? Any questions? All right, hearing none, old business. Consider awarding sealed bid for county-owned parcel 0093-044 to Collins Fire Department. We can take these up in one motion if you would choose. Consider awarding sealed bid for county-owned parcel D001-097 Danielsville Volunteer Fire Department. These sealed bids were sent out in timely manner and advertised. We received 2 bids back, one from Collins Fire Department and one from Danielsville Fire Department. No other bids were submitted. We done this under record and under video, and the award would go to each one, and they were in the amount of $1. The plats have been recorded.
No, just the Collins has.
Collins been
Danielsville
recorded.
were-
I'll get Danielsville recorded tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'll need a motion to accept those bids.
I make a motion to accept the bids.
I have a motion by Mr. Kirk to accept the bids. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Chandler to accept the bids. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Dennis?
Yes.
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 Thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to prepare the deeds for those?
Please.
Okay.
I'm gonna need a drink on this one. New business. And I promise it's sweet tea. It's been here since 10 o'clock this morning, so there's no ice. Maybe a little. New business. Consider approving a proclamation naming October 3rd through the 9th, 2021 Mental Health Awareness Week. And I just got off of a conference Zoom meeting with Advantage Behavioral. Zach, I don't know if the chamber ran this in the Madison County Journal yet. Have you seen this?
I ran the information.
You did run it? So it says, buy a bow to support mental health awareness. Join our Friends of Advantage at the Madison County Chamber of Commerce in showing your support of Mental Health Awareness Week, October 3rd through the 9th, 2021. To make donations, for more information, visit friendsofadvantage.org. You can purchase a big green bow to show your support of Mental Health Awareness Week, and I think a portion of the proceeds will go back to Advantage. With that said, I will read the proclamation, which was prepared by Ms. Christina Baxter, our new county clerk.
Our first proclamation.
Her very first proclamation.
Self-awareness.
As most of you know, Ms. Rhonda Wooten joined into the retirement crowd as of Friday at 5 o'clock. I was very thankful to see so many people stop by with well wishes. I know we, as a county, are in good hands with Ms. Baxter, and thank you for putting this together. Now I'll read it. By the Chairman of the Madison County Board of Commissioners, a proclamation, Mental Health Awareness Week, October 3rd through the 9th, 2021. Whereas mental health is a part of overall health, and whereas 1 in 5 adults experience mental health problems at any given year, and 1 in 17 adults live with mental health illness such as major depression, bipolar disorders, and schizophrenia. And whereas approximately 1/2 of chronic mental illness begins by the age of 14 and 3/4 by the age of 24. And whereas long days, sometimes decades, often occur between the time symptoms first appear and when individuals seek help. Whereas early identification and treatment can make a difference in successful management of mental health illness and recovery, and whereas it is important to maintain mental health and to learn the symptoms of mental illness in order to get help when is needed. And whereas every citizen and community can make a difference in helping end the silence and stigma that for too long has been surrounded by mental health illness and discourage people from getting the help they need. And whereas a public education and civic activities can encourage mental health and help improve the lives of individuals and families affected by mental health illness. Now, therefore, be it resolved. Well, actually, I need a motion to adopt this proclamation.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Doster, a second by Mr. Chandler. Actually, it's Terry.
Discussion.
A discussion. Hearing none?
Yes.
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 Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Madison County, Georgia, do hereby proclaim October 3rd through the 9th, 2021 as Mental Health Awareness Week in Madison County to increase public understanding and importance of mental health and to promote identification and treatment for mental health illness. So it's resolved by the Madison County Board of Commissioners on the 27th day of September 2021, and it is signed and ready for delivery, Ms. Christina.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
There's a lot going on behind that, and the timing is perfect for this week for mental health awareness. And I think each of us knows that has kids and school kids, and knowing the COVID situation, that COVID has really brought out or highlighted mental health through the school system and through our young children. And it is something that everybody needs to pay attention to, because I don't think there's probably anybody in this room that doesn't have somebody in their family with mental health issues. But I would encourage everybody to please support the Advantage Group and what they do here for our citizens in this county. Road updates. I kept it short. I said because we got a meeting next week on the 4th. But I wouldn't really give any road updates right now, but one in your district, which will be completed by the end of the week, is Floyd Woods Road.
Okay.
There is a huge list that's being worked on, but I'll present that in the work session.
Great.
Urgent matters. Anybody have any urgent matters? All right, hearing none. Statements or remarks from citizens? Come on, Mr. Harris.
You know I've got.
And you said you'd go quietly.
I am, but I just want to inform y'all that the the Rogersville Road water line has a person that has already signed up for it.
Oh, good deal.
All right.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We have a customer.
If this is not the appropriate time, you can tell
It
me.
is, sir, go ahead.
All right, so, you may want to know why I'm not addressing this to the sheriff's department. I hope I will make it.
Can you give us your name and
Yes.
where you live? So
My name is Ray Inman.
Okay.
And I live down on Brownwood Drive. If those of you who are not familiar with that, my backyard faces Joy Baptist Church. Okay, and we're having a little crime wave down there. It involved the information involves myself and a gentleman named Frank Edwards who lives across the street from me. And Frank told me it'd be just fine for me to convey his wishes here also, okay? So, I had, 20 gallons of gasoline disappear off my carport recently, and Frank had a, $150 floor jack disappear out of his garage. This was probably both last weekend. I reported mine. He said he didn't know when his had disappeared. But he does the food pantry for Joy Baptist, and he went the next Monday, and someone had broken in, not taking a lot of stuff. They had taken food, but they had trashed the place. They had thrown beans everywhere and all kinds of stuff like that. And I've just noticed from time to time that the sheriff is asking for more money, for more men, for more help. And I'd just like to ask you folks to consider answering his request, because we need some more help down where we are, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
I spoke with Michael Moore today at 4 o'clock. And Michael's concerned that crime is on the rise. I will tell you that I told him whatever he needed to let me know that this board stood behind him. And currently, we need applicants. We have openings. We have, I think, 9 in the jail currently that needs to be filled. We need EMS workers, part-time, full-time. We have a lot of openings. Nobody's applying for any job. I went to Burger King Sunday, had 1 person. It was shut down inside. Nobody can seem to employ anybody right now.
Okay.
But Michael is aware of your situation, sir, and that he knows that he has this board behind him, and this board will give him what he needs. But right now, we just need applicants. In saying that, I had a phone call today from a representative of the Lions Club that just held the fair in Comer. And I don't know if any of y'all went, but on one night, they lost 1 girl's bathroom to vandalism during the fair. And on the next night, they lost another girl's bathroom due to vandalism. And I'm talking about busting the commodes, busting the sinks, ripping stuff off the walls. Some of you may have seen on Fox 5 News recently that the teenagers is doing these TikTok videos of destroying bathrooms. For some reason, that is a thing right now. But I will say that they're being looked into, and they will be dealt with appropriately. Michael has assured me of this, and I trust him when he tells me that.
Yeah.
But
They've done the same thing over to schools, so
Yep.
it's very disconcerting.
yeah, and you know, we just went through this with our outsourced ball fields. Not outsourced, outside ball fields like Diamond Hill. Some of our ball fields that set not necessarily under supervision of anybody, you know, particularly for 24 hours, and they're getting vandalized. And, you know, and I would like to say to the public, if you enjoy these places and you like bringing your kids to it, just don't tear it up. Do something. Call somebody. If you see something, tell somebody. If it's your kids, it's my kids, I'm going to report my kid. I'm taking my kid to the sheriff's office. My kid will be held responsible for it. But parents just got to step up and know what their kids is doing also. Or it won't be long, we won't have no places to play. We won't have Comer fairs. And sorry your stuff, and I'm sorry that it got missing. But it's not on lack of effort, I promise. We just can't keep up. So the responsibility does fall back on each and every one of us. But thank you. Statement and remarks from commissioners.
Just like to say thank you to the folks at the Comer Fair for the week that they presented last week, and particularly to Jeremy Legg and Angie McGinnis. I'm a fan of the livestock program down there, and they did a phenomenal job. Every night they had the hogs Tuesday, goats and sheep Wednesday, dairy cattle Thursday, and beef cattle Friday, and again on Saturday. Outstanding shows, outstanding crowds, but the investment that they have made in the children and the students of the county, in the facility is just phenomenal. Jeremy Legg's one who did most of the designing. He's the creative mind behind it, and it is as good as you find anywhere. So,
Yeah. And
thanks
also,
to the Coleman Lions Club for their work.
I second it too, because I even had kinfolks that live in Franklin County, and they were talking about how good that was, the whole thing was managed.
Keeping in mind that the fair themselves is a contract bunch.
Yeah.
Right.
We just host the facilities for the
Right.
fair.
Right.
Because I know there's a Facebook thing going around about maybe some rides wasn't there.
Yeah.
Some staffing was, the fair has a problem hiring people too, you know. So it's not just, those guys, but the Lions Club, just to touch on what, Terry and Brian both said, they do a phenomenal job. There's only a handful of them that does it, and the majority of them is up in age. These groups need more help.
Well,
Parking cars is a 20-man deal.
Oh, yeah.
It is. And that's probably the hardest part about the fair, is trying to get people parked, and the amount of people. And, we had Boy Scouts at one time, and then we had ball teams at one time. These are all gone by the wayside.
Yeah, their contracts on that.
Yeah, it's very tough, in which we all enjoy those things, but we gotta understand the hard work that goes behind them.
Oh, yeah. And just to make an extra point is that it's supposed to be the Madison County Agricultural Fair.
Right.
And the agricultural part of it usually works out fine. Some of that other contract stuff is the issue, but, you gotta have the rides to go with it, but, that's the thing. But I do applaud the folks that have done the agricultural and, the Lions Club and the FFA and all those groups. It's great.
I'd like to take a minute and thank Ms. Ivy again for her comments and reports to the commissioners. And I'd really like for us as a group to encourage our other department heads to give us reports as timely and as complete as that was. That is a real service to us, or to me as a county commissioner, and also it inspires me to find a book to send to my daughters to read about a local article.
I've done my job.
Yes, you did. The second thing is with the award of this grant for the Mize Road waterline extension and upgrade up there. This was one of the projects that was included in our 10 that the IDA presented to us. In communication with the IDA, Todd, if you would, let's take this one off the list then, because it appears that it's going to be there, and so that we can concentrate our efforts and monies on the other 9, or if we want to add another project to the list. And what we did, I believe $2.5 million, looking for a $10 million grant. It gives us a little bit more flexibility, or maybe a little bit better vision of what we could do with our county monies.
I think for a short period of time, Dennis, you're correct on that, because it was one of the 10. When Josh presented the list of 10, Josh Chandler presented the list of 10, I think this is 10 problematic areas, or 10 areas that we would like to approach first, but in no particular order. And I don't know that those were chiseled in stone, the 10. So I think if between a couple members of this board, or the whole board, and a couple members of their board, or their whole board, I think we need to hash it out with a board and says, okay, where's our priority 1 through priority what? And that, I'm sure that will come if awarded, which we'll find out quickly. I think October, maybe November. November we'll find out if the award goes through. But at that point in time, they're going to have to be a think tank of people to figure out which money goes where. But I would encourage everybody to be part of that process, because I think it's going to be a big project.
I suggest we not wait till then. I actually met with the IDA chairman one day last week, and I would like for us as a board to have a work session with them. There's several things that I challenged him on And one of the questions I ask, and I have not seen it, and there may be some in history, but have we as a board ever issued a statement or a directive to the IDA as this is what we feel like your role should be? Over time, there's just, a role has occurred, but have we as a board of commissioners ever assigned them, this is what we want your responsibility to be? And we and the IDA together need to be a cohesive direction. And again, just because of the way things have occurred, it certainly gives the appearance that we're doing our thing and the IDA is doing their thing, and and we need to solve that by working together to define where we need to go. And specifically, and there were several specific things I challenged the chairman on. But one of and we know that night was sort of awkward because of the time constraints that we had on making an application for that grant. The IDA was, we list quick, so that was quick presentation, and I think we probably do want to go back and find out specifically what we all feel like is priority. Not that we want to micromanage what they're doing, but we do need to give them an assignment and at least work together to define what priorities are. And we mentioned that night, one of the things that is not on that list is a sewer problem corrections up at Dogsboro. And my thought process in saying that we should be early, if we're looking at something like that sewer upgrade, you're going to be talking about land, you're going to talk about a design being created, and you're probably going to talk about some land acquisition, et cetera. And to me, those are the kind of things, those are the kind of plans that need to be already in place, so that when an opportunity like this comes along, then we're not spending 6 months in the planning process. We have already spent that 6 months in the planning process. So when the opportunity, a potential $10 million grant comes along, that we're ready to push a button and go.
And that's part of that whole comprehensive plan put together.
Absolutely.
Well, I think Derek in his other life, in the speed management, would agree with me on this, that if you do 60% of the paperwork up front, then the whole project and the flow through a project is much easier, but you've got to determine what your goals are,
Well, I feel that the unity between the two could come together, and I do feel like a work session amongst board members, which we would need to make sure we do the legal aspect of running it in the paper, do a due diligence there. I do see it going very well, and I do believe that is exactly what needs to happen, just so that we're all on the exact same page. But if we need to, I'll try to put that together tomorrow, and then we'll get something in the paper, because we'll want to work with that 14-day window.
Well, one of the things I would like to see is, as we approach additional water line projects and all, I would like to see some type of pre-construction survey take place regarding the number of potential customers we can pick up in what we're doing also. I mean, it's fine that we're doing this with the intent that we're reducing ISO standards in our county. I mean, that's a good thing for everyone. But at the end of the day, we need to really be in the business to sell water. And to do that, you've got to have customers lined up, ready to go on board as soon as water's available. And I don't know, Harry, you, if you don't mind me calling you Harry,
That's fine.
in regards to, you said you were the first person to sign up, and I'm asking this out of ignorance. Were you ever approached prior to construction that there was an opportunity to do that?
I was informed that you could put your name on the list, and then once they got to a certain point, that you could officially be on the list. Now, I went down there and did that, other than having Frank Yen bug me, all this time.
That actually was one of the topics that I brought up when I mentioned when I visited with the chairman last week. And on the other side of that, if there are potential wells along the line that we're planning to run. The opportune time to address that is before you get the system in place. So if there are sources of water available in the area that we're going, those two things need to be captured in the process.
Yeah, and we definitely need a plan, and of course, some of this, you know, just talking to one of the members I know in the IDA, when you're looking at, there are also some issues with sort of some redundancy issues, right. And those really need to be taken care of somewhat first, and they don't really impact probably a lot of additional customers, but if you're gonna add additional customers, they need to be done first.
And that's actually what the Mize Road, water system tie-in is. It's a redundancy to keep fresh, good water, there. I think that if I recall correctly, this will be the one coming out of Commerce. It sort of has a dead end
it's
on
a
it.
dead leg.
Yeah. And I think everybody here has great ideas, and I do believe, that we can come to a consensus and a good plan. We just gotta get it in motion.
Yeah, but before we get down to the little specifics like what we're talking about now, we got the big picture, why we're doing this, where we're going with it.
I agree.
One of the questions that was brought up in the IDA meeting, I think last week, Mr. Harvin, Gary Harvin, stated that he would like to see some of the money potentially used for our own water system. In other words, looking to where we have redundancy here in the county, and so we won't rely on other counties. And one of the things, and I'm sure there's an answer to everything, every question I have, with the growth being towards Commerce and Jackson, at what point could they potentially say, guys, we got so much, we're gonna have to hold our water? Not saying that'll happen, but it's still a question they may have the answers to, and we can figure it out around a round table. I'm positive. So,
And hopefully a lot of our planning will help us answer that.
yeah, sure. But I would ask everybody, especially, you know, Derek, with your history in it, and Dennis with your history in it, and these two guys, and the valuable opinions y'all have and questions, we should get somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's good to go ahead and try to get a joint meeting together, some planning for long-term, conversation commitments. Like I said, the sewer line definitely takes a long time to plan, and the comprehensive elements that effort will take. And then, you know, it's always good to have a customer base and understand kind of what kind of customers we can pick up, but it all goes together, like Commissioner Kirk said, that, you know, trying to avoid some of those stagnation lines, you know, being able to move water from one side to the next, you know, one side of the county to the next county. It's a system.
Right.
And that's what we got. I mean, and I know everybody at the table, but I think it just helps sometimes to clarify that it's an overall system, and it's gotta work. It's gotta work. And, you know, of course, we need customers for, you know, for serviceability and payments, but at the end of the day, too, takes a lot of planning to get those things and get them in right.
I just realized somehow I missed something, and that was Mr. Terry Floyd. I skipped over that altogether, didn't I?
Terry Drake Floyd.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's our new board member.
That's right. We got
Yes, sir.
Y'all approve.
never mind.
Thank you.
What, are you, we fixing to transition to getting out here?
Yeah.
All right, well, so one thing I'd like for you to do is this the whole board?
No, I have, Terry, Linda Pitt, Mike Moco, chairman, and Harry Rice. So this is about half the board.
Okay.
About half the board is
All
there.
right. Well, I'm glad you identified who they were, because I wanted to make sure.
Yes, and then Sharon Lentz is, one of our substitutes at the library, and she also volunteers, and she's been a lot.
We appreciate y'all coming to the meeting.
Absolutely.
And sitting through and listening to us banter up here.
They're not all bad, I promise.
Well, if I could just say one thing.
Sure.
It's good to see, such unity on the board. I'm no longer a resident of Madison County, but, my term as far as the, board of trustees, will expire coming up. But, just the support that the board has always given, and to hear 1, 2, 3 people, you know, compliment our librarian. You don't know how good that makes the board feel. I mean, we have all the confidence in the world in her. Jennifer's been with the library for many years, and she was an assistant librarian to other librarians. And Athens, our regional office would bring, whenever a librarian was needed, a branch manager was needed, they would service us with a branch manager. And every year and a half, they were flipping out of there. And so the board, on the last one that we had the opportunity to interview that they suggested to us, we made the lady an offer. She came back with a counter offer. We said no. She could take the job if she wanted it, and she said no. And so that gave us the opportunity to say, okay, we want to put somebody in there. And we talked to Jennifer. Jennifer said she would love to do it, and we have just been top of the world ever since then. You know, it's good to have a librarian who loves the county, lives in the county, because these other people didn't live in the county. They didn't love the county. I can't say they didn't love the county, but if they're flipping over every year and a half, they're doing something else.
They didn't have a vested interest.
They didn't have a vested interest. And our Jennifer here is just, I can't say enough about her. We appreciate y'all's, and it's me talking, but Harry would probably say the same thing, and every other board member would say the same thing too. It's just great to work with, to have such a good library. Good library. 10 years ago, we went through a building process, and 100% support from the board, and Jennifer was an assistant then, and I mean, they were pushing the construction people just like we were, you know. So, yeah, it's a vested interest in the library, a vested interest in the community, and a vested interest in the whole library system in Georgia. She's doing a lot of studies with, and she's taking classes with, I can't remember that. What is it? Appalachian Leadership. Yeah, continuing to grow it and build her resume. So we really appreciate you guys, and really appreciate that.
Thank you. Well, thank you for the kind words for her.
Yes.
That means a lot to know that her board stands behind her like that. It's really inspiring. I'm going to not get long-winded, but I want to say one quick thing. It's not just a library. You know, we have such good citizens on so many good boards. The 4-H, the Lions Club, the Rotary. I mean, look at what the citizens do for others. When people say, you know, why would you live in Madison County? Why wouldn't you live in Madison County? Where else are you going to find a place like this? If you go back tonight and Google board meetings throughout the state of Georgia, just watch a few. See if they're this good. See if they're this good. This is awesome. We have a good year. Executive session, discuss real estate acquisition, personal matters, or potential litigations.
Yes, sir.
Another reason to move here. You heard that? No, sir. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Real good.
Like the law, we just like that.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. I thought that was you back there. Look, my kids love rabbits. My grandkids.
I got the call.
Sure. Okay.
Did you ever?
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
City limits, they need to.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, and they weren't there, I
I've learned not to go to the county or the city on Fridays, nobody's working.
Yeah.
So I'll go, yeah, you are here.
Part-time anyway, some of us.
Yeah, so I'll go in the morning and get it signed there, and go record it with Linda, and then I'll go.
Yeah, all I need is flat motivation, I'm gonna do the rest, I'll break out time. Thank you.
Because that's why, Heather,
They can be able to.
she went there.
I wouldn't know you wanted that.
That's fine, not a problem. Heather.
Now they're city clerk.
They were on horseback, and now they're trying to prosecute those guys for doing their job.
Well,
Speak tomorrow.
but you are gonna say what I'm.
Got one under your belt, girl.
It's your writing. No doubt.
You gotta learn from that.
Oh, yeah. Not some of them are,
I mean, look, I got.
all of them are good, I guess, that I know, but.
A giant among men.
This is Mr. Ray, he goes to church with me on the
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Ray Inman, he's a member of Gordon's Chapel.
How are you, sir? Been there a long time. Well, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, well, I stopped telling people how long I've been here, because most of them.
Okay, thank you.
Eric, what you think about my chair for next year?
5-0.
Well, thank you.
Question, Josh, about how the process was supposed to happen with it, filling that in, so. Ask see where, who's qualified, I said, well, I'll tell you what we do. I think that's the talent, that's the else.
You know, I think that Gary is not having other than us, the man, I think he's probably very qualified.
Absolutely.
But he needs to hold his tongue.
You got